Houthi militia continues to target civilians in Taiz. Houthi measures stoke massive public resentment in areas under their control. U.S. administration could take immediate actions to end the war in Yemen. Welcome to Yemen Today TV. This is the English news with me, Shaza Abdelbay. In Taiz, a Houthi sniper targeted a 30-year-old citizen near his house. According to local reports, the citizen was targeted while he was on his way to the market, which led to his injury in the left shoulder and was taken to the hospital for treatment. The Houthi militia continues to target civilians in the same areas, violating human rights.
Today, I was shot on my shoulder by a Houthi sniper. I was on my way in Kulabas district around 7:30 a.m. I was taken to the hospital to receive treatment. We're still suffering dire living conditions through the 8 years of war, especially in Kulabas district, suffers targeting and terrorism.
People in the areas under the Houthi control suffer from hard living conditions, especially when civil servants have not had their paycheck for more than 5 years now. This report has more details.
The areas controlled by the Houthi militia are witnessing a warning of the outbreak of a massive revolution due to hunger and starvation of citizens, cutting off their salaries and sources of livelihood in return for the inflation of the militia leaders' wealth. Activists and social media pioneers circulated a number of video recordings of citizens and bloggers expressing the popular discontent in the Houthi-controlled areas after a state of poverty and oppression has prevailed. Citizens complain about the increase in levies, corruption, and Houthi looting in exchange for the Houthi militia continuing to cut the salaries of state employees despite its ability to pay the salaries, that it has sufficient financial capabilities to regularly pay the salaries of all state employees. The bloggers' voices embody a state of popular anger due to the poor conditions and the continuous looting by the Houthi militia of private and public funds, the continuation of the theft of humanitarian aid, and the confiscation of the people's forces, and imposing the payment of illegal royalties and levies, and forcing tribal sheikhs to recruit children and send them to the fronts. Furthermore, fuel crises and black markets have been created for the sale of oil and gas, cutting salaries, spreading manifestations of violence and weapons in the streets, appointing supervisors and allies to terrorize people. Observers assert that what bloggers expressed on social media is a prelude to a popular uprising and revolution that uproots the Houthi militia and ends the black era in Yemen's history, in light of this gang's control over the fate of millions of Yemeni people.
The Houthi militia destroyed dozens of homes and residential buildings in Al Tuhaita district in Hodeidah. Local sources revealed that the militia has destroyed citizens' homes, claiming that these buildings were built in the era of what the militia called aggression. The security services stopped a Houthi attempt to plant explosive devices in Ma'rib. According to security sources, they were able to monitor the Houthi cell in the governorate that tried to plant explosive devices aiming to destabilize security in Ma'rib and target military figures and important leaders. The war has damaged major health infrastructure. The renal center at the Taura hospital in Taiz announced stopping work due to severe shortage in diesel. This report has more details.
Yemen is the largest humanitarian crisis in the world, with more than 24 million people. Some 80% of the population are in need of medical assistance, and the country has become a living hell, especially for the patients. Yemen is facing an emergency within an emergency. Only half of health facilities are functioning, and many that remain operational lack basic equipment, and due to the depletion of diesel in hospitals, it forced the medical departments to stop. At Thawra General Hospital Authority, the largest government hospital in Taiz Governorate, announced that workflow has stopped working in all medical departments in the hospital as a result of the depletion of diesel, and death threatens the lives of patients. especially those with kidney failure who visit the center on daily basis. Al-Thawra Hospital has been suffering from the problem of providing diesel for years without any signs of solving the problem. The hospital authority announced a warning that the hospital would be out of service in front of thousands of patients unless it was supplied with diesel.
The renal failure center in Al-Thawra Hospital today is out of service and has stopped due to running out of diesel. More than 88 patients with kidney failure today need dialysis, but unfortunately, we won't be able to help them. We appeal to the governor to intervene to save the lives of those patients.
The protracted fuel crisis affected on the health services, compounding an already difficult humanitarian situation. Thousands of patients in Yemen are on the brink of losing access to life-saving health care as the country faces its worst fuel crisis.
The World Food Programme confirmed that the food prices are still very high. In addition, in the statement, the program revealed that since the signing of the grain initiative across the Black Sea, more than 300,000 tons of wheat have been transported from Ukraine to 4 countries, including Yemen. The U.S. administration could take actions to end the war in Yemen. Biden, upon taking office in the White House last year, promised to put an end to Yemen's conflict. This report has more details.
Nearly 2 years since the Biden administration made the pledge to end the war in Yemen that is still on for 8 years, it has created what is widely regarded as the world's greatest humanitarian catastrophe, with hundreds of thousands dead and millions in desperate need of aid. Amid the Biden administration's efforts to derail the resolution, it was unclear whether Sanders had enough votes to secure its passage. None of the Democratic senators who were reportedly opposed or skeptical of Sanders' resolution responded to requests for comment. Observers of the conflict tend to agree that the grounding of coalition's air forces with Sanders' resolution would do by terminating essential U.S. support. That would enable the Houthis to expand the territory under their control and prevented the Houthis from taking the central governorate of Marib, where there is a lot of oil and gas fields, which the Houthis absolutely need in order to survive as an independent state. Some supporters of Sanders' resolution view the Houthis as the intransigent party, the baseline requirement of negotiating with the coalition amid an unexpected ceasefire amounts of sacrificing Yemen's independence. The Houthis are therefore inclined to view the battlefield as the only arena to resist foreign aggression. Returning control of this conflict to Yemenis won't let Houthis to use foreign aggression as a political claim, and certain groups allying with the Houthis on these grounds can return their focus to domestic issues. Then Yemenis can decide whether or not they want to live under Houthi control.
Coming next in the news. The second Saudi oil derivatives grant arrives to Al Mahra port.
ننزل ندي ماء من الغلا والغلا ذا بعيد، كنا ندي بالدواب نعبي ماء وترجعنا. ننزل الساعة 5 رجعنا الساعة 9.
ما يقلنا ظهر لأنه زحمة ما حد يخلي الجهل يغرف وإحنا تعبنا زيادة.
وكنت أحس صدري يوجعني وعز قلب ركبي يوجعيني.
كنا ما نستخدم حتى نغسل أولادنا إلا يعني بأيام معدودة.
كنت أغيب على المدرسة لأن كنت أروح الديمة.
حتى وإن كان يجي الأمطار تروح هدر لأنه ما في معي خزانة.
الوقت نشتري ب30,000 هي مع هستيلك ما يغلقش معها الشهر.
بس راح تطلب الله ولا أي حاجة، عاملة كل شغلك الماء.
Welcome back. King Salman Center supported a free medical camp for cataracts and glaucoma patients in Al-Dala and Lahj. This report has more details.
A new day of suffering and pain mixed with hope for many citizens and their families, who flocked in large numbers to El Salem Governmental Hospital in Qahtaba in Al-Dala Governorate on the first day to launch the free medical campaign to combat blindness, which will be implemented by Al Basar International Charitable Foundation and with the support of King Salman Relief Center in the districts of Al-Dala, Qahtaba, El Azarik and other regions in Lahj Governorate. The medical campaign will examine patients, provide treatment and perform surgeries for cases that require it.
تنفذ اليوم مؤسسة البصر الخيرية العالمية المخيم رقم 100.
Today, Al Basar Charity Organization is implementing a campaign in the camp number 137, funded by and with the support of King Salman Relief Center. This camp is implemented in Al-Dala Governorate and a number of other districts in Lahj Governorate. The camp covers the examination of 4,000 cases and implementing 400 cataract surgery and lens implantation. The camp also provides patients with medication, medical glasses and medicines after surgeries, all this for free and without any fees.
Popular and official satisfaction with such medical campaigns that contribute to eliminating diseases and alleviating the pain and suffering of citizens, and demands for more attention to the health sector and the health of citizens, with expectations that the campaign will receive more than 4,000 cases and perform nearly 400 surgeries for eye patients in the operating room of Al Nasr Hospital in the city of Al-Dala.
We are displaced people here. We cannot afford the medical treatment. We appeal to the authorities and organizations to pay attention to our cases and provide medical care.
I want to thank all who participated today in Al Basar Charity Camp and King Salman Relief Center for supporting this camp that took place here for the first time. I also want to thank them for the great service they are providing.
At a time when the citizen is suffering due to the absence of health services, as well as the deterioration of the economic conditions and the high cost of living and treatment. This medical campaign for eye patients in the fight against blindness in Al-Dala Governorate came to alleviate the suffering of many patients, especially those who are unable to pay the costs of treatment and surgeries.
Prime Minister met with the academic committee charged with reviewing the lists of scholarship students to study abroad in Aden. The meeting discussed the tasks of the committee with the decision of its formation issued by the Prime Minister in order to conduct a comprehensive analysis of the scholarship policies. The Prime Minister stressed that the committee should complete its tasks according to the time period. The Houthi militia prevents pumping water to Taiz, which deepened the crisis of millions of people. The water crisis in Taiz is one of the deepest problems that has affected civilians for 8 years. The population suffers from water scarcity as a result of the Houthi militia's prevention of pumping water from the wells located in the areas under their control. Protesters erupted in Aden condemning the continued economic collapse. In addition, the protesters demanded the government to put an end to the ongoing economic collapse, denouncing the decline in government salaries, especially after the drop of the national currency. The second batch of the Saudi oil grant arrived at Al Mahra port. The batch is expected to ease the tough oil crisis, which has made the country suffer since 2015. This report has more details.
The suffocating oil derivatives crisis has expanded to several governorates in Yemen due to the closure of most fuel stations, as the Yemeni Petroleum Company failed to provide them with oil supplies. Commercial fuel stations and stations belonging to the Yemeni oil company have completely stopped selling operations, which led to the creation of a suffocating fuel crisis. Yesterday, Yemen's Al Mahra province received the second batch of the new Saudi oil derivatives grant. The kingdom had announced that it would be providing the war-torn country with $200 million in oil grants through the Saudi Development and Reconstruction Program for Yemen. The first batch totaled 70,000 tons of fuel, and the second batch included 4.5 million liters of diesel fuel. The grant is an extension of Saudi Arabia's constant support of Yemen at the directives of King Salman bin Abdulaziz and Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Crown Prince and Prime Minister. The latest batch will help operate over 70 power plants in Yemen. It will directly go to operating hospitals and medical clinics, schools, government buildings, airports, and ports. It will help boost economy and trade and ultimately improve living conditions throughout Yemen. A previous grant worth $422 million helped stabilize the Yemeni economy and support the state budget. It helped increase the purchasing power of citizens and improve security, services, and living conditions.
Informed sources revealed that the Houthi militia's corruption in Halban areas and the rest of the areas under its control in Taiz. The sources indicated that the Houthi leaders transferred the revenues of Taiz financial markets, which amount to 3 million riyals per month, to personal expenses. They added that those leaders' sums ranging between 500 to 700,000 riyals from cut taxes, in addition to fees they impose at checkpoints. A meeting of the directors of the financial authorities in liberated governorates revealed that one of the main problems to collect local revenues is the increasing number of agencies. According to the meeting, these governorates do not deposit the collected revenues into agreed-upon government accounts. Here's a reminder of the main headlines. Houthi militia continues to target civilians in Taiz. Houthi measures stoke massive public resentment in areas under their control. U.S. administration could take immediate actions to end the war in Yemen. This is the end of the news. Thank you for watching.